Hi everyone, it's Dasher Dave here again, back for another crafting video. So today we're going to make some faux enamel. Now, I've made some before and you've seen me make them before. I'll link to the video, the original video. However, I want to make some more because I want to make some specific things this time. So I thought, well, you know, while I'm making them, might as well bring you along. Some of the things that I do slightly differently. So there might be a few, you know, differences in the way that I make compared to last time. But, you know, it's all because it's all about, you know, the rich tapestry of life and the evolvement of things. So things that I'm going to need are, in here I've got some, this is actually a medicine thing, because it's actually from my cough medicine. It's got some glycerin in it. I've got a clean dauber. I've got a cloth to dab off on. I've got some vinyl gloves and something I can heat onto, so heat emboss. The glycerin is just this stuff. I buy it in a large quantities. If you buy it from just a supermarket or a chemist, you'll actually find you pay for like a little tiny thing, and you'll pay the same amount as you will do if you just buy it from Amazon. All you want is just pure vegetable glycerin. This could be used in food, but I'm obviously not, you know, using it in food. So it's just pure, that's all you want. The gloves are just because, for me, it's fine for your hands. It just leaves a bit of a kind of a sticky residue, and I've never liked having sticky fingers. I don't mind sticky fingers from glue. I just don't like sticky fingers from, you know, sweets and chocolate, and I just don't like the feel. It's a weird thing, I know. So, and I've got lots of bits that I've already cut out. So, what I want to do is I want to make I'm going to be making an entomology journal thing. I also want to, I'm really sorry, I'm going to be coughing all the way through this. I also want to make, I want to finish my 4 seasons journal as well, but there's a few things that I want to do. So there's a lot of stuff going on. So I want to do some, one that says field notes, one that says entomology, and I thought we might make some smaller, you know, the disc ones that, like this. This is me and my cricket were falling out because the blade was blunt, and so we might make some of these that have just got numbers in. I think I've got some numbers here. So numbers and letters I think I've got here. So but we'll do all of the everything that we normally do to make them look old and etc. So let's just put those away because you're just getting too many bits out at the minute, Dave. So the other thing that I've cut out is for each of them. Well, I say for each of them, and I don't know where the other one is. I've cut some. He says some, but I've definitely got one. I don't know whether some is the word. I've cut some of the foam board out. So I've cut some foam board. This is just the funky foam stuff. I like it because it gives it that, like, is it ferrous metal? It gives it that kind of like metally, you know, like if you look at the back of an enamelled thing, it's often got that black stuff on the back. Anyway, that's the reason I've done it. But I did cut another one out that was big enough for this one, and I don't know where that's gone. I will have to find that in the meantime. So anyway, what we're going to do is, I'm going to have this on here. I'm going to infill it with letters. So although I could leave it like this and just put the middles in the O's, etc. I'm going to infill it with the letters here that I've also cut out, so that it's like it got a flat surface to it. This cough is going to drive me insane. So before I get to that point, what I want to do is I want to snag up the edges of this so that you can see some of the black in the background. So I'm just going to get my finger over it and just make it look like it's corroded and chipped and that sort of thing. So I'm just going to go over the edge a little bit on some places, not all of it. I want it to be quite random. Corners are good to, you could just tear a bit away on there, I guess. On the corners, maybe a bit more there. And tear it out, and a bit on the bottom edge there. And literally that's all I'm doing, is just making it so that it looks less perfect. And then we'll catch those with kind of rusty colours to give it that look of aginess. Like me, this is what I look like in the morning. Say nothing. Bit on there. There you go. So, and then what that will do is when you put that against there, you'll be able to see some of the black in the background, which will make it look a bit more like it's rusted and chipped and weathered with time, which just gives it that kind of an old feeling to it. So, okay, get rid of those bits. This is where I could end up coughing because I'm starting to get particles in the air. So rusty hinge is obviously one of those colours we definitely want to be using. So, because it's rusty, it gives it that rusty look. So I'm just going to put a little bit on there. Not going to go too much, and I certainly want it to be white as well. I want there to be quite a significant amount of white still visible. I've cut this to be smaller than this so you can see a white border, because you very often find that with an enamel sign you get that kind of white border on it. We're going with this colour because it gives you that rusty look, and then we'll put some other colours on just to darken the edges so they look more corroded. The inner bits tend to look rusty, and the outer bits look more brown, want of a better word, brown. So we'll just put the colour in where we want it to look like it's been worn by time. And you know, like I say, you can make it, you can do it however you like and make it however you like. You don't even have to have the rusty bits on if you don't want. And the reason why I like just scrape it out with my nail is because it gives you that kind of jagged edge, which makes it look at just, you know, it's like, it's a trick of the eye, isn't it, really? So you're just tricking your mind into thinking that actually it's corroded and bubbled up. It tends to bubble up when it's real corrosion. I'm just going to go in there and make sure we've got all of those white bits so you don't see any white bits. You obviously don't have to use heat embossing stuff. You know, you could just go over it with a bit of glossy accents and leave it, I guess, if you wanted to. But I like the effect of the glossy accent. So I thought I might try this scorched timber, because this is where it could go horribly wrong, because it might not be the right colour now. But just on the very edge to give it that more corroded look. I don't want to put loads of this on though, because I've never used it before, because it's a new colour, and B, I'm not sure that this is the colour that I would normally go for. I normally use the what's the other one? The walnut stain. That's the one I tend to go for. But you know, let's mix it up and see what happens. It's alright. It's turning out actually alright, to be fair. There we go. Let's see what that looks like against there. Oh, yep, I like that. That's good. I won't put any more on, otherwise it will that's the background. So let's sort this bit out. So first of all, let's just make sure that when we put this on here, that looks okay. Yeah, okay, so it does, but some of this, I think what we'll have to do is, so on this bit here, I'm just going to do a little bit of damage to this as well. I'll just drag my nail across there. So there's going to be that bit there. And I think that should be okay. We might put a tiny bit of damage just on the top there. And then what we'll do is we'll get this again. A bit of cross-contamination going on here, but never mind. And put some of that darker colour on as well. I want some more of the gingeriness of the rusty timber. The rusty timber. It's completely like making up my own words now. So rusty timber and scorched hinge. So and I wonder why like Tim never came to me for any advice on naming the colours. I have no idea. Yeah, cool. Right, what I might do is I just go in a bit further with that colour on there. Just bring it in a bit further just so that it doesn't have a white blank between the colours. There's my gingery bit there. Okay, let's see what that looks like now. Oh, that's better. Oh, much better. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Right, okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to glue this down first. So we are going to use some glue, which is usually how you glue things down, Dave. I'm going to put some of this on the back. Don't want to use loads of this. This does have a good grab to it, and it's got a little bit of wiggle room on this. It's very similar to the art glitter. The only thing it doesn't do is it doesn't go horrible in the cold weather like art glitter glue does. And unfortunately, I live in a climate where it goes like that. So I don't tend to use my art glitter glue in the winter because it doesn't work. So there we go. Pop that on there. That's going to go on top of there. We're just going to get it in the right place. So we've got a bit of a border. Like that. Okay, might I put a bit more colour on this now and know where everything is, so it's just a bit that needs to get in there. Yeah, that's fine. Cool. Yeah, happy with that, and a bit here as well, I think. There we go. Yeah. Okay, so that's that bit. Now what we need to do is we need to find the middles of those letters, which are here. There should be 3 O's, which are there. And then we're going to I have a pair of these, because I have fat fingers, which makes it harder to glue things down. Well, more to the point, to hold on to things when you've got fat fingers. Don't want too much of this on because I don't want it to ooze out all over the place. And then we're going to put that on there. Oh, actually, what we could do, put one of the O's in, put the cardboard surround in, and then put that in the middle, and that way then we know it's in the right place. Yep, pop that back out again. Do that again. Put that in. Get this. The middle of this. Pop some glue on there. Put the middle in there. These are squeezers, and I never get them right. Never squeeze when I should squeeze, and let go when I should let go. Hopefully that's in the middle. Yep. Just take the surround out and then do the same again. Come on. So this is not the bit where I worry about, I don't worry about it, but like, well, this is not the bit that I'm worried about having sticky fingers. Is the stickiness of the stuff. What's the stuff called, Dave? What's that stuff called? Glycerin. It's the stickiness of glycerin. Glycerin is a bit like syrupy, and I don't like the feel of that. So okay, there we go. That's those. Right, now what we're going to do is we're going to stick in the letters. So I could have left that in, couldn't I? But let's just go down this route. So I'm going to put little dabs of, hopefully, and get it to come out. I don't need a lot. I'm just want it to stay in. I'm just going to put this in here. Put that in. So I know it doesn't look any different to it being like just the cutout bit, but what it does is it just flattens it off, and it makes it well, I just like the aesthetic of it, so I prefer the aesthetic of it, put it that way. Yeah, there we go, so that's that. Dave, I'm going to put some of this on the back of my hand, and I'm going to just dab this in there. And then put that in there. Hopefully my hands aren't too wiggly. Hopefully my head isn't in the way as well. Just use my nail to push it down in with. We've got a T. Don't squash the T, Dave. That's the T. The T, which basically means the truth. Ain't that the T? And well, it is if you watch RuPaul's Drag Race. So put that in there. I might come back to you because, like, it could be here a while I do this. Okay then, folks, so we have done that bit. I just want to put a little bit more of the rust, I think, just on this bit here. So and because I've cross-contaminated that, I'm just going to rub it on a bit of brush, I think, see if I can get it to come off this way. Yeah, that's what I wanted there. I wanted that to look a little bit less brown and more rusty. You can, of course, put little, like tiny little, dots and stuff on it to make it look a little bit more authentic, like it's got. You tend to find older signs. The enamel hasn't kind of protected the whole thing, so So just to have a few dots every now and again. You can, of course, make that. Let's just clean that a little bit. I'll just darken that bit down. Where's my scorched timber? If I just put a little bit of this on here and then just put a tiny dot in the center. Just gives it that bit more, you know me, for my, you know what I'm like, I have to have it looking as authentic as I possibly can. So there we go. So that's that. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take our clean, there it is, looking for it. So I'm not going to stick it to this yet. And first of all, I'm going to cover it all in glycerin. And then we are going to, so I'm going to dip it in the glycerin and get a good coverage on the pad. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to dab it off. And this is when, Dave, you really need to be prepared and have your gloves on. Otherwise you're going to be in a sticky mess and you're not going to like it. So, so I'm going to put my gloves on. Just dab that off so that you haven't got loads on. And what you want to do is you just want to cover the whole thing in. Now you can use embossing glue or a pad, an embossing pad, but you don't need to. Basically an embossing pad is just literally glycerin. So if you want to keep it nice and cheap, you want to go down the economy route like I do, all you want to do is basically giving something for the embossing powder to adhere to. And really that's, like I say, that is literally all that the embossing powders, glues really are. So you might buy an embossing pen or an embossing pad or whatever, and it's really basically it's glycerin. You tend to find that if you touch it, it'll feel just like glycerin does. You don't need to make it very wet either. You literally just want to make sure you've got full coverage. You want to make sure that the embossing powder is going to stick everywhere you want it to. So you just have to make sure that you get it down this edge. You don't need to wipe it off. It's not going to do any damage to anything you've got. In fact, it's not going to do any damage to you. It's literally that I don't like the feel of it. But it's the same stuff that they put in skincare products. It basically absorbs moisture. So once I've done that, what I'm going to do is I'm now going to get a piece of paper. I'm going to pop this on here. I'm just going to put a little bend in this paper, and we're going to use this as like our funnel to get this embossing powder back in the thing. So this is, I won't tip it up with the lid off, Dave, not a good idea. This is Wow embossing powder. This is melted powder. Basically it's designed for melting in like a, what they call a cauldron style thing, but it's also just good for like using bulk, when you bulk melting, when you bulk what am I doing? Bulk, yeah, when you're doing a lot of this kind of stuff, and it'll just melt down clear. Just tip that back into there. Pop that out of the way. Put the lid back on that. Just make sure the lid's back on, otherwise it'll all melt and go horrible. In the thing, my hot thing, just breathed it in. So what you just want to make sure is that it doesn't blow away, so I'm just going to hold it down, and then I'm just going to make sure that this is hot. Yes, it is. And then I'm just going to melt it now. So now this isn't the one I would normally use for this. I'd usually use my pink one. This is good for drying stuff. It's not as good for embossing with, heat embossing with. I do have another hot air gun that's more designed for this, but I don't know where it is at the minute because I've been tidying up. It's one of the things that has gone AWOL. So I just want to make sure. What you don't want to do is you don't want it to bubble. And that's the reason why you don't use glue to stick this down with, because the glue would be reactive with the heat and it would start to bubble. So once you put that on, and then you can have a look at it and you can say, well, do I like it? Is it gone a bit, you know, have it got enough on there? If it hasn't got enough on there, then put some more on. So who are you calling a moron? So you can take this, pop this back on here. I can put some more of this on. And I can go back over the whole of the thing, cover the whole surface of it. So you can either do this, like this. Now you've heat set it this time round. You don't have to worry about it smudging anything or moving anything because it's already encased. And then you can put this on, or if you're really quick, you can do it while this is still hot and melted. I'm just going to move it out of the way, and then I'll show you what I mean by that in a second. So I'm just going to heat this up. So you might need more than one layer of it, or you might not. Don't lean into it. You will get, it's like wax, so you are going to get like a bit of it coming back in on you. And what I mean by while it's still wet, you can do that. So while it's still hot, I mean, you can do that. Just dip it back in what you've just done, and then like you'll get, and then you just keep going until you've got the coverage that you want, which I think I have now. I've got a nice shiny coverage to it. There we go. So that is that. Let's just pop that back in there because they're going to get in the right mess otherwise. Just pop that out of the way for a minute and put the lid back on that, because otherwise I'll knock it over and that will go wrong. So that is that. Just make sure that it's dry before you touch it properly. Okay, and now what we need to do is we just need to pop this, glue it onto there. Okay, I'm going to use my 3-in-1. Well, we now know it's called 4-in-1 for Dave, because it's 3-in-1 with the addition of some kalal. So I've started calling it 4-in-1. Got the 3-in-1 in there and the kalal as well, so kalal as well. So just be careful when you are doing this. Don't get too much of the embossing powder on the back, because what you'll find is it won't stick to anything. Then it's like you've like given it like a wax coating. So I'll pop that on there. I did cut it to the same size so that it should just sit on there nicely, which it does. And there we go, we've got a sign that should look like, hopefully you'll agree, that it looks like an And I think that is one of my size things. I think it's my punch. Yes, it is. So then what you can do is just punch them out. Punch two, so your black and your white are going to be the same size, and your coloured one is slightly smaller, just so you've got a nice edge. I'm just going to have to take my gloves off because I can't scratch an edge without my nails. So I'm just going to go along here and just scratch out an edge. You could tear it. I'll just torn it a little bit and just tear a bit out. You could. I just think that if you cut it, it's too perfect. It doesn't look anywhere near as good as just scratching it with your finger. Or you could use one of those tools that I do have, but who knows where it is. One of those things for like scratching up an edge. I do have one. Don't know where it is, so that's not going to happen. So another video. that's doomed for. So I just think it gives it that kind of corroded look to it, but you know, that's just me being fussy. But like I say, it's yours. You do what you like. Don't let anybody else put you off. Do not let anybody stifle your creativity by telling you you're doing something wrong. There is no wrong. There is no right. There's just the way. Okay, so I think I could do with a different door, but now that I've made a mess of that, let's use this. That's brushed corduroy. Where's my rusty hinge? Let's use rusty hinge and put a bit of that on there. Oh, let's just tear that bit off. Yep, there we go. And just like I say, just make it, do it however you like. Make it look as rusty or as, you don't even need to use rusty hinge, you can use whatever colours you like. If you don't have rusty hinge, then don't use rusty hinge. Don't go out, certainly don't go out and buy something just to be able to do one thing. And if you've only got rusty hinge, then just keep going over it and it'll get darker on the edge anyway, so that's that. And I'm just going to put a little bit of the this on the edge, scorched timber. I do quite like that colour. I've got to find a reason to use it, let's face it, so I bought it. So yep, there we go. And then if we just take that off for a minute, put that on there. Is that going to look okay? Where do we need to do? So we're going to need to have a little bit on there. So let's just put this on. So a little bit there, a little bit there, tiny bit there, and a big bit there. Okay, so we'll just put that in, make that rusty. Make it your own. As rusty or as not rusty as you like. You could even have it just perfect. You don't even have to have it rusty. So let's put put a little bit of that dark on the edge, not too much. Cool, that's that. So we should be able to marry these up now, like that, like that. Yep, that's about right. Cool, yep, so we're going to have that like that. Let's glue that down now while we're thinking about it. In fact, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of this glycerin around this edge before I stick it down. Don't want to put too much down because it could, I don't know whether it will, it could inhibit you sticking, making a good adhesion. So I'm just going to go around the edge and stick that and put that on now. You have loads of like drying time for this. You don't have to like rush and get the next layer on quick or anything like that because you've got plenty of time. It takes forever to dry. And pop that on there, bit of glue on there, put this down on here, get it in the right place, like that, and then we can put and we'll put, what we'll do is we'll put a lot of, no, that's the wrong one, Dave. Put my glove back on, otherwise I'm going to not like it. It's going to make me cry. You don't want to be doing that. Right, cool. Then we're going to put this on here, and we'll soon find out whether the letters stick on it or not, because like I've just done that all the way over. I think Brian's already here. We're eating together tonight. Brian's making fajitas. I think Vic has arrived now. I can definitely hear, well, I either can definitely hear his voice or I'm going mad. So anything's possible. So pop that there. I'm just going to take off the excess, stick that down on there. That one, stick that in there. Let's put a bit more on. Squidge off the excess. That's really not very helpful, it being that way round, but there we go. Let's put that on there. Let's get that in the right place now. Cool, and then what we're going to do is we are going to just put a dot of, where's my brush gone? There. Put a dot of this on. What we could do with it being rusty hinge first. Shape that a bit. It's really hard for me to be random, so and then we'll take that off and put a bit of the sculpture tipper on it. Shape that into a bit of a point. Put a bit there, a bit on there, a bit there, and a bit on there. Cool. Like I say, you've got loads of time with the drying time of the glycerin. You don't have to worry about that at all. You just need to be careful that you don't pull your letters up that you've just glued down, or your numbers in my case. And then we'll get back in my piece of card, pop this back on here, and we'll put the covering of this over it. And we'll leave it on there, and we might dip it again and see. Bring in my brick, tamp off any excess, and then just hold on to it while we heat it up. Now you can overheat embossing powder, so just be careful of that. You don't want it to bubble, and so it's better to do one bit. Don't try and put on too much of a thick layer in one go. It's better to put some on and then dip it again and then put some more on than trying to get it all on in one go. Because like I say, you can overheat it, and if you overheat it, it tends to bubble or crack. So just getting that over the surface. Once we've done a full coverage, we'll just dip it again. And then we'll heat it again. We might actually take that bit off there. And hopefully you can see how it's kind of turned that kind of glossy enamel finish. Pop that over to one side, and that should be okay actually. I think that's got enough on there. Leave that off there for a minute. Pop that back in there. That can go in there, and then we'll pop that. That can go in the bin now because I don't need that. So now we'll put the lid on. Ooh, we'll put the lid on this, and then whilst we're just clearing this up, I'll show you what we've done. So, like I say, if you don't have any funky foam, you can just put it on a piece of black card. So I'll just glue it to that black card, and you'll see what I mean. So you don't have to go the whole hog and go out and get funky foam or whatever. And like I say, if you don't have what's the not funky foam? What's the other thing? You don't have any heat embossing powder, then come and see me because I've got loads. No, and then if you don't, then just use some glossy accents or any glue that dries clear. Should be absolutely fine. So we're just going to pop that on there. And there we go. So that's that's our I'm going to pop those on a piece of card, and then you should be able to see our faux enamel. So there we go.